So first of all, I would like to thank the organization for the invitation. It's always very rewarding to have these opportunities to share knowledge, and even with other areas of knowledge. We, from the area of tourism, we like that a lot, because what we do in the territory is to adapt all those things in terms of what is the best experience to tourists and respecting the local community. So that's why we exist. I'm going to speak about a good example, not just in Portugal, but international level, and I'm going to explain why. And I'm just going to present here a little glimpse of the history and evolution of this place. So I'm not going to talk about loads of technical things or what is behind. So then I will be glad in these 3 days to explain more if you are interested. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about the principles, how we start this reservation. First of all, Alqueva, several years ago, it has the youngest artificial lake in Europe, and the biggest one, that is Alqueva. Alqueva is a dam. So people started to think, well, we're going to develop here nautical tourism, and there was a plan for 20,000 rooms in that destination. So at local, we start to think that we wanted to preserve this place, and we start to look for markets and what endogenous resources, what we could use in terms of differentiate ourselves from other destinations. So at this moment, there are several destinations, rural destinations, so they are facing loads of, they are competing with each other. So it's not something that we create and tourists will go there, because that doesn't happen, and I could tell you here several examples of that in the entire world, even here in Portugal. So we wanted to differentiate ourselves, and by the other side, we knew that in terms of market, people are not looking for rural destinations as a place where they go to seek for rural life. They want to do everything that is possible to do in a natural destination. So at this level, we imagine that it could be possible to create a dark sky reservation. Just by curiosity, Dark Sky is an association that was created in USA 20 years ago, but never thought in terms of tourism. So it was just about a problem that is a huge problem nowadays, that Russo talked previously, that is light pollution. We associate dark with danger and light with purity, but artificial light creates lots of problems. So the basis for this was to protect that place and protect the sky, so mitigate the light pollution. By the other side, the main principle was also that is to create a responsible tourism destination. So what this means, that by one side, we are going to create something that is interesting for tourists, but by the other side, that improves the life of people that lives there. So mitigating the light pollution is very positive for them in several areas, even because they were competing by light. For instance, one of the villages looked like a cruise in the night. It was like, you can't imagine. So after midnight, no one goes there, everyone is sleeping, but there was this light that is very expensive for the municipality. So in the first year, they saved 20% in the light bill. So they can use this in improving the life of local community, for instance. We started in 2007. So we picked up this idea and we spoke with the local municipalities, and they heard and the explanations and why and so on, and they joined together, and in 2008 we were already creating a brand, and we were defining the territory. So in 2011, and you see, 2008 the idea, 2008 the brand, but just in 2011 we became the first tourism starlight destination in the world, not just in Portugal, but in world. And why? Because in these years, we work with local people in creating, by one side, mitigate light pollution, and by other side to create tourist activities and reorganize the lodging to be prepared to receive these astrotourists, because they are doing activities during the night and not during the day. For the destinations is very good, because what can be done during the day, it can be also done during the night, and the experience, because what we create is experiences for tourists, are completely different. So in 2015, because Lake Alqueva is one part is in Portugal, another one in Spain, Spain was also interested in undertake this project, so we started to the negotiations with the Diputación de Badajoz in 2015, and in 2018, after they managed to create all the things that were necessary to be approved and to have all the things that could be integrated in this kind, because there are loads of things in the territory that are necessary for this. In 2018, there were integrated more 3 Portuguese places and 5 Spanish municipalities, and in 2019, this year, we became also the first tourism destination of astrotourism that is situated in 2 countries. And you can see the growth here, so it's the first municipalities and what we have now. So this is Lake Alqueva, this is Spain, all the destinations in Portugal. So we grow a lot. And why? First of all, because nowadays people look for different activities, but because there's a huge market for this kind of tourism. Everyone likes to do stargazing, for instance, in the North Europe. There's a tradition of take children once in a lifetime to see the sky. And 80% of the local population in the world are living in cities, do not have this kind of opportunity. And there's another thing that is interesting. This is the place where is the basis of this association, and as you see is a school, an old school, so one of the main bases is also to undertake the local resources, the indigenous resources, not to create new buildings and all of that, so take advantage of what already exists, and by other side because it's inside a location, so also the local population can have an interaction with what we do. So these are some of the prizes. We've been recognized by WTO as an innovative destination. And this year, this is one of the biggest prizes in tourism. So we get the Europe's Responsible Tourism Award, the World Travel Tourism Award. So it's very rewarding to be that to see that this is being recognized. Here is also another prize that is very interesting, because when we started this, we asked for help to Dark Sky International Association to help us to explain to municipalities that night is not dangerous. What is dangerous is when we have social problems inside the locations. So they helped us in the beginning, and then they realized that tourism was very interesting, and it was a good idea, and they created inside their association an area of tourism development. And then they recognized and they gave a prize to Apollonia, that is the person that started this association. Here, because associated with thematic, I bring two examples of what has been developed. Okay. So this one joins science, tourism, and community development. So there's lots of collaboration and partnerships. And for instance, the American embassies, when they bring here some astronauts, they go there. So first of all, it's a tourist activity because it attracts people from outside, but the other side, these children that are in the interior of Portugal are receiving and connecting directly with astronauts and people that are directing lots of things in NASA. So it's very interesting for local population. So at this moment they are extremely aware about this kind of knowledge. My other side, and one thing that is really interesting and it's associated with this thematic, is science, art, and astrophotography. And astrophotography, in this case, has took Alqueva to the entire world. Every time that we do, and it's Miguel Claro that does the pictures, and we have here in Portugal one of the biggest astrophotographers in the world, the picture becomes pictures of the NASA or in another area like that. So not just in terms of tourism, but also at the other level, Alqueva is spoken everywhere because the common citizen interests also about this, so they know where is Alqueva because of that. By the other side, I just want to leave here some of these things. To develop this in a territory is not so simple as it looks. It's not just to switch off the lights and to put people observing things, because here there's something that is very complex in terms of science. And for instance, it's very difficult to teach local population to then develop activities related to astrotourism to astrotourists, because they need to explain that to, and we want to develop that in a responsible way, so we want to give jobs to the local population. So equipments are very expensive, and I think here the astronomers that are here know that much better than me. And also because the knowledge is complex and it takes time to learn, and sometimes rural people lives there do not have that kind of knowledge. So it's very complex. It's not so simple as it looks. But you know, when we are behind tourism, we do lots of background work, and in the end everything looks perfect. But for instance, this talking about this looks a priori extremely simple, is not so simple at all. And then the other thing that is light pollution. We do not have at this moment, even if we are certified, we still have several sources of light pollution, and we are working on that. The first step is very easy because it's just switch off the lights that are not necessary. But the second step is very difficult because it's to change the technology, the lighting technology, and that is very expensive. But it takes then, after that investment, it stays for a very long time. And to finish, and because sometimes images are better than words, I have a small film about, and based on astrophotography, just to show. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful images and quite inviting. I think actually tonight, if the sky conditions are like this, I think you will be able, for the others that they haven't seen the Milky Way, you're going to be able to see the Milky Way tonight. So maybe you should need to find a very dark spot here in Castelo. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, so you mentioned that it's really important and challenging to work with the local community. But can you give us an explanation or just a hint on how are you working with the local community, especially if we think that right now it's about 13 municipalities in Spain, 10 municipalities in Portugal. So how are you working at a local level with the local operators?
Well, we have a place where people can book, and to do that in Portugal. They can work also with Spain, but there's local entrepreneurs that develop activities, some lodging that has also equipment for people to do, and there's different kind of markets. There's the market of people who already have knowledge how to observe and go there and just want to have the equipment, and they do it like that. And also, for instance, in winter it's cold, so some lodgings have like floor with heat and something like that, that will be better for them to do that. There's another advantage in Alqueva that I did not speak. Some of the places where we can do that are very far, like in Chile, even La Palma. Some people have accidents because it's an observatory of NASA, so we cannot switch off the lights. So people have accidents getting there, for instance. So here is 1 hour from the airport and has all the qualities to see the celestial phenomena. So people could bring the family, even if they are those who are independent travelers that already know that. Then there's the other ones that do not know nothing about this, and we have the observatory where they can book activities and go there. What is relevant is that when we have a destination like this one, we need to develop activities for people to stay longer, and for then the local population to profit with that, because then they will go to restaurants, they will stay in the lodging more time, and so on. So that's why we need to diversify the offer in rural destinations and to create different tourist activities. At this level, we have different kind of nationalities and different kind of tourists, and also different kind of activities, like meals, picnics during the night, like the dinner that we are going to have today, and walks, and imagine all the things that you can do during the day, you can do it during the night. So even local population is created with their imagination, other activities for people to do. So we create the seed, and then local population start to develop. And even, for instance, we have a 5-star hotel that was created from French, and the basis is wine, but the rooftop is on glass for people to observe the sky. So even then, these things, the entrepreneurs start to spread, and what we do is the main core of the things. And then the entrepreneurs start to spread with activities based on that and take advantage of what the territory is doing.
Yeah, I was thinking if you really do trainings or some kind of workshops to teach people about it.
Yes, yes, it happens. For instance, as I told you, it's very difficult to explain the sky. People need to understand, and there's training for that. And some of the ones that are doing that, it doesn't mean that is extremely technical, because generally tourists do not like that. So in terms of tourism, generally we simplify the knowledge for the experience to be positive, depending on the knowledge that the market has. So a simple activity is already done by local people that were already trained, and then we have young people that take courses related to that had training in receiving tourists and develop these activities with tourists.
Can I do just a final question about numbers?
I guess we're gonna have the opportunity to have also ask one-to-one questions, and I'm so sorry to cut the conversation now, but I think it's time for lunch, so the program doesn't get late in the afternoon. And so, like I said, there's opportunity to ask for questions if you want to know where is the best place to stay in Alqueva, the best location in Japan. Talk with Professor Gata and Professor Aurea.